For the next session, we will have a panel discussion on the topic of referrals and collaboration in international real estate. Please welcome our speaker, Mr. Tan Kian, President of Malaysia Institute of Estate Agents, Professor Dr. Edgar G. Ong, Vice Chair of FIABCI Philippines, and Ms. Vanessa de Souza, President of FIABCI-Thai, President of FIABCI India. Please welcome our speaker, and our moderator for this session is Mr. Pontev Sri Narulat, CEO of Syncate Company Limited.
สวัสดีครับ and namaste to our guests from India. Welcome to another panel discussion on referral, on collaboration. Okay. Yes, you in the center, Dr. Ong.
I'm in the center?
Yeah, right. Yes.
Okay.
Panel discussion on referral collaboration. My 35 years of real estate, I always believe in collaboration. 1 + 1 is not 2. To me, 1 + 1 is 11. It's very powerful. I like to start with the first round. Of course, we'll have many rounds. I rather than keeping you speaking 10, 15 minutes in a stretch, we will do in many rounds. And each round, I'll pose a question, and you focus on the question I pose.
Yes.
The first round, I like a brief introduction of yourself. Number 1, brief introduction of yourself. Number 2, a brief introduction of your organization, your FIABCI, your MIEA, how many members you have, how old is your organization. So introduction of yourself, introduction of your organization. We start with the youngest person, Dr. Ong, please.
Okay. Thank you, Paul. Hello. Good afternoon. My name is Doc E.G. Ong from the Philippines. I am a licensed real estate broker, appraiser, and consultant, presently active in the practice of my profession as a broker, appraiser, and consultant. It could probably be noteworthy to know that I was the first chairman of the Professional Regulatory Board of Real Estate in the Philippines, in charge of licensing all real estate practitioners in our country. At the same time, after my retirement from PRC, after 8 years of stay, I devoted my time to my advocacy, lifelong advocacy, and that is real estate marketing and real estate education. I'm likewise teaching in so many universities in Metro Manila, Philippines, and also the dean, currently the dean of the College of Real Estate Management at the Lyceum of Alabang. Well, my organization, I am vice chairman of the FIABCI Philippines and chairman of the Philippine Federation of Real Estate Service Professionals. And recently, by the grace of God, I was elected in Saudi Arabia last December as the president of the Education and Academic Members Committee of the World Federation, the FIABCI World Federation of Real Estate.
And FIABCI Philippines, how many members?
FIABCI Philippines has over 500 members.
How many years old?
It has been there for almost a decade.
Oh, okay. Yes. Okay. Now we come next. In Thailand, we address each other as Kun, unless you have a doctor title, Kun, in place of Mr., Miss, Mrs. So may I address you the Thai style, Thai way, Kun Vanessa, your introduction and of as well as your organization.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Vanessa de Souza from India. I'm a real estate consultant operating under the name of Empress Estates since the last 28 years. My firm covers all real estate sectors, be it residential, retail, commercial, land and building, joint ventures, and all activities related to real estate. I have another company, Vanessa and Associates, where I'm a revenue share in construction. And my job scope in this company is to handle the marketing and sales with the developers, where I'm a partner as well. And I have another company, which is Empress Global Trading, which is on the same lines as consulting with, but it is like for every product line that, exists today in imports and exports. Yeah, basically like a service provider. And FIABCI, it's an international organization which was founded in Paris in 1948. This is the only real estate organization which has all real estate disciplines as its members. And we have more than 50 chapters, each country being called a chapter. So when we look at FIABCI Thailand, it would be FIABCI Thailand chapter, FIABCI India chapter. And this is a very good platform for all of you to come and network. And as we had so many panelists, trying to understand how to attract foreigners to their countries, this is where you must be, on this platform. Thank you.
And how old is FIABCI India and how many members?
FIABCI India is around 6.5 years old. It was founded in 2017 with our founder member, Mr. Farooq Mahmood, and all of us as board members. We had a closure during COVID, so we are not, actively around 5.5 years now. And on this platform, I've been elected as FIABCI India Vice President and current President today. And on the international board, I was elected as Vice President of the International Organizations Committee, World President of the World Council of Managers, and very recently this year, I stepped down as President of the World Membership Committee. And in India, I've also been the past head of Women's Empowerment Committee on the NAR platform. And in my local association, I am the immediate past president. Thank you.
Where is the headquarter in India?
Yeah, FIABCI headquarters is in Bengaluru.
And that's where the first convention was held.
Yes,
I think 2017 or 2018.
2018.
18.
that's
I
right.
was there.
Yeah.
I was there. I was
Yeah.
invited
We
by.
had a trade mission.
Correct.
And,
Correct.
and the
That's right. Yes.
convention. That's
Okay.
right.
Now come to Kun Tan,
Thank you.
MIEA, your introduction and what is MIEA? Yes.
A very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Tan. That's my surname. Basically, I'm representing the Malaysian Institute of Estate Agent, MIEA, and I'm the president of the institute as well. And MIEA is also the principal member of FIABCI, and I'm also the vice president of FIABCI Malaysia. And my background, I used to serve in the board of valuers, appraiser, estate agent, and property managers in Malaysia. And I used to practice, I was a licensed estate agent in Melbourne, Australia as well. So I used to live and practice there as well. And MIEA today is 50-year-old.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So it's been a long journey, and we have been there since the day one. The Malaysian government enacted the law. We were in part of the participation as well. We have about close to 10,000 members as today.
Okay.
And we are also for the first time with, we are also one of the partner with NAR, with collaboration with NAR. And coincidentally, we are having our International Real Estate Conference in September in Kuala Lumpur as well. I believe some of you
Quite-
will be
quite-
there. Yeah,
quite-
I
quite
think
a
a
few
lot
of us will be
yeah,
there.
be there. So I look forward to meet you guys there. Thank you,
Yes,
Bonte.
thank you. Now, the second round, we'll start with Kun Vanessa. Let's start with, for better understanding, what is referral? What is collaboration in real estate, Kun Vanessa?
Referral and collaboration in real estate is connecting with another professional in order to, increase business opportunities and, work more effectively in your business.
Okay, Kun Tan, what is referral? What is collaboration?
I think in the context of real estate, especially, one of the reasons we are here is networking, right? And I like what Vanessa mentioned is true. The collaboration is where we want to expand our horizon, building more connections so that we can serve the community and getting more deals done. So to me, referrals is what I understand is a way of a partnership and an agreement with both parties to come together and conclude a transaction or the deal
Okay,
where both mutually benefit. Yeah.
okay, good. Dr. Ong,
Yes, let me put it this way. The world is getting smaller and smaller every day. You can reach the other part of the globe through the internet. And global referrals and collaboration are very important and necessary in order to facilitate real estate transactions. Would you know that every hour a single transaction is being consummated and closed in the world? And that is why referral, global, I should say, international referral and collaboration are very, very important. There are important ingredients in our real estate transaction.
okay, good. Now, the third round, I like to start with Kun Tan. In my experience, I have seen not everyone open to working together. Some people has a mindset, oh, I like to keep the cake my own. So generally in Malaysia, the agents, are they open to referral, to collaboration idea?
Okay. I like your enthusiastic approach. Yeah. Now, let me share a little bit of a prospect. What in Malaysia is this? The fundamental of our practice different from country to country. So in Malaysia, a lot of the so-called the brokers or the agents, we get a listing appointment or we are being appointed by your client. But most of the time, the client do not engage just you as their exclusive or the only agents. Likewise for the buyers as well, they shop around. They don't go to one agent to buy a property. They go to field agents to shop for the better deal, for more options. So for us as a practitioner, right, we may not have the properties or the listings that match what our buyers or our clients wanted to buy. So that's where we are very, I would say more than 50% of our transaction done by the estate agents in Malaysia are what we call a co-agency or co-broking.
So up to 50%.
More than 50%.
That's very good.
Yeah.
That's very
So
good.
it's more like an ML. It's like, we call it an MLS in the other part of the world, but in Malaysia, we call it a co-agency of co-broking. So it is a very common practice in Malaysia, and that if you close the door and you just think that I'm just close the deal on my own, the next thing you know, your buyer could have bought somewhere else or your seller could have sold it from others. So it's very common in Malaysia for this to happen.
Okay. Dr. Ong.
Yes, in the Philippine setting, we have a lot of referrals and collaboration among the almost 90,000 licensed real estate.
How many? 9,000.
90,000
90,000.
licensed real estate
Oh.
agents, salespersons, brokers, appraisers, and consultants. Each one seeking greener box or whatever, I for myself has a good connectivity or collaboration with the United States and in Asia. But the problem is, I think we have to take note of the regulation that are existing in each country. In the Philippines, foreigners cannot buy land. However, if you are a foreigner, all you have to do is tie up with a local, national, on a corporate setting of 60% Filipinos and 40% foreign. And so therefore, you can now freely engage or start operation in the Philippine real estate market. But condominiums, you can get 40% of the total units in one building condominium foreigners can buy. Now, the Philippines is very popular or well known to be exporting overseas Filipino workers, even in Malaysia, even in Singapore, even, and as such, these Filipino overseas workers would have one primordial policy, a dream that they want to have their own home. They want to have their own house and lots, condominium, and that is a good source of referrals, right? But the problem now is, what about the commission sharing? In the Philippines, we normally give referral fees. We call them referral fees.
Right.
But you cannot transact without a licensed real estate professional.
Right.
Huh?
Right. Right. Yes. Very good. Yes. How about in India, Kun Vanessa?
In India, currently, we do not, have the concept of multi-listing services or referrals, very dominant, because most of the reputed brokers, they own their own companies and they make their own contact. And in remote cases where, it's not that everyone can have every property in this business or every client. So that is when they come and, they network or connect with other brokers to, deal for a certain property or for a certain client. And they have, the commission is like each one, like if one introduces the client, one introduces the property, then each one, gets their commission from their side. And if there are more than one, then they share, it's made known before they do the transaction, whether they can share or, stick to one side itself.
So is it
It works-
common? Is it common referral in India?
It is, it goes directly by word of mouth or on these organizations where we belong. Estate Agents Organization of Pune is where all come together to network and they share and exchange, their properties and everything, which one would term as listings. Yeah, basically like word of mouth and paper listings, if you ask me right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. My next round. What is each country may vary in terms of referral fee, agency fee, commission, whatever you may call it. What is the referral fee? What is commission? What is the agency fee in your country? We start with Dr. Ong.
All right. In the Philippines, there is no hard and fast rule on referral. However, the standard practice is that if somebody would refer to you a client in the Philippines within the country, you get a referral fee of 10%
10%.
of the total commission.
Refer the buyer or seller. say
Refer the buyer. You
buyer.
don't do anything. You just refer the buyer.
10%.
You get 10%.
Okay. And what is the normal commission paid by the?
Normally, the commission in the Philippines for a real estate transaction ranges from 5-6%.
5 to 6%.
Yeah.
So the referral is 10% of that 5 to 6%.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Next, Kun Tan.
In Malaysia, it depends on the type of transaction. we have a local referral, means the transaction is done between the
Between two
local.
local.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there could be some referral coming in from overseas or international a client to your country. So it really depends on what kind of referral. Let's talk about local referral. Now, when we talk about referral, there are two types. One is if you are having a buyer interested to buy my property and you refer a buyer to me and I'm going to do everything. So the referral could be from 10 to 20%.
10 to 20.
Yeah, but if it's a co-agency, if you take care of your buyer and I take care of my seller, it's a
Work-
50-50.
Work equally hard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you work equally hard. So end of the day, our challenge is we do not have a law that regulate this
How
referral.
okay.
So whatever agreement that we have between two parties, we call it a trade agreement to say that for this particular deal is going to be a 50-50 or 10 or 20% kind of thing. So it depends on transaction to transaction. But the norm when we do a co-agency, most of the time is co-agency, not so much of referral. It's 50-50.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And the fee that in
Yeah,
Malaysia we
yes.
have a law.
Yes.
In fact, we have an act to say that we as a registered estate agent for secondary properties or sub-sale, we call it, the maximum we can charge our client is 3%.
Okay, by law.
Yes, a law, the
3%.
maximum, yeah.
Can be lower, but cannot be higher.
Yes,
Okay,
yes, yeah,
okay.
yeah.
And you mentioned secondary.
Yeah.
And how about the project sale?
The project sale is between the developer and the agent
okay.
at that point. So there's no cap to it. There's
Generally, how much?
It could range, depend on what kind of the price range, location, and type of properties. It could range between 2, 3 to even 5, 6, 7%. That is the developer is going to pay for the.
So in Malaysia, co-brokerage more common than referral. Okay. Yes. Kun Vanessa.
In India, by the association norms, we can earn 2% from the buyer and 2% from the seller on the total consideration. Outside city limits, the percentage increases from 2 to 5%. And on land, it varies from 5% to 10%. Besides that, there is a trend where this is very personal to every transaction. With an understanding between developer, sellers and buyers, after they quote their final price, if a broker, whatever he gets over and above that, it can be retained by the broker. But that is with an understanding beforehand, which is,
that is also allowed by law.
Yeah, that is allowed by law because, I mean, it is very transparent. They have quoted before doing
and
the
depending on the understanding with the
with
party.
with the respective
Right.
parties. That's
Okay.
right.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Let me clarify and ask perhaps Malaysia. You know, our law on real estate, we benchmark from the Malaysian law.
Yeah.
And
okay.
that is specifically
Uh,
the one broker equals 20 agents. But now I think you have increased it.
We found that act is
Okay.
outdated and we are
Okay.
trying to
Okay.
amend the act, but yeah.
Okay.
All right. But in our side, we have in our law, it's specifically Section 32 of the Republic Act 9646 of our law. On that particular area of the agents to broker. Because in our country, if you deal with the unlicensed broker, you can be penalized. But you know
okay.
now, what we do is for the 1:20 has been mitigated or related to what we call corporate practice. So if you are in a corporate practice or a corporation doing transactions, each agent affiliated with the corporation or working with the corporation is allowed only 20 up to now. But we want to change it. No, we want to amend it. But surprisingly, lately, I think about last year, there was a ruling by the Supreme Court, our Supreme Court, that if you are a single proprietor,
Uh-huh.
you are all alone by yourself.
Right.
You don't have a
Right.
corporation.
Right.
Your agents can be unlimited.
Oh.
See,
Okay.
provided you are able to shepherd, you're
Right.
able to manage them.
Yeah, MLS, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, just now, Kun Vanessa mentioned that in India, the commission also paid by the buyer, split half between buyer and seller. Can you highlight this in each of your respective country? Buyer also pay only from the seller, the commission. Yes, Kun Tan.
Now, in Malaysia, the Act specifically says that you are only allowed to charge
From the seller.
fee from a single party.
Single
So
party.
the buyer can pay you a fee,
Right.
or your seller can pay a fee. But in
one-
Malaysia,
one
most of
party.
the time the
It's
seller
Okay.
will pay the fee.
Okay.
But sometimes the buyer is retained by the other agent is retained by the buyer.
Right.
So in a co-agency situation, the agent that's representing the seller, right, gets paid from the seller. Now, in some situation, the agent that's representing the buyer,
Right.
the buyer could have been paying the agent a fee. So in that situation, you take care of your fee, I take care of my fee. So
Okay.
we are only charging one side. But most of the co-agency cases, the seller or the vendor will pay the selling agent. And the buyer does not pay any fee to the buyer agent. And in that situation, we will split the fee because you won't want to be doing for
That's
free, right?
Right. That's
So most of the time that will happen. Yeah, the seller will pay the fee, and the seller will pay the fee to the selling agent, and the selling agent will say, hey,
split. Yeah.
we split the
Yeah.
fee that my client pays me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dr. Ong.
In the Philippines, sharing of commission normally between two licensed brokers or practitioners should be 50-50. However, there are instances wherein an unlicensed broker deals with a licensed broker. And in that particular case, that is not more or less discouraged. No, that is discouraged. But in such a case that it happened, the commission rate would not be 50-50 because unlicensed.
That's right.
So you have to protect the licensed people. Oh, yeah. So, no. Normally, we give referral fee.
Right. Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Just now, Kun Tan mentioned about MLS. I think this is another interesting subject. MLS, US is the icon, is the example to the world, and the most successful country to operate MLS in the world. So how is the system in each of the country? Can we start with Kun Vanessa?
Currently, MLS is just a very new concept in India. It started after 2020, India MLS, and even NAR India has started their own MLS. But on these,
So you have two separate MLS?
yes,
Okay.
but on these, I mean, since it's a very new concept, I do not think that many of the brokers in India
They are
have
not yet in access.
registered on these platforms because, I mean, they are already doing very healthy business because they're looking at, their local and national levels. But where I feel MLS would be a very strong, tool would be for cross-border, transactions and, selling and buying.
So
and stuff like
MLS in India, who can access? General public or only agent?
It depends on who they've opened to, but
You need a password.
Yes,
you need a password to access.
You have to register on that. And,
Register. So probably restricted to agent
yes,
who are registered.
yes.
Okay, yes. Kun Tan.
Now, MLS is something that, how would I say it in Malaysia, is that it is only restricted to practicing estate agent. It's not
okay.
for public.
Okay.
So where the agents themselves, we share
Right.
the resources now.
Right.
So there's something that we had in Malaysia, we had been talking about for many years, not only for local, we wanted to have MLS globally as well,
Oh, okay.
right? So whereby other countries who are interested in buying in
So
Malaysia.
MLS in Malaysia, the operator is MIEA.
Yes.
Ah,
So
okay.
we find a few challenges we have in terms of doing that, because unlike US, in fact, when I was in Australia practicing, if there's anyone here practicing in Australia, it's not common to have MLS there as well. So we don't do MLS in Australia, right?
Okay.
We only refer to a
Okay.
client that is
Right.
in, if you are doing residential and I don't specialize in commercial,
Right.
that's not my forte, and I refer
Right.
it to you so you can get the deal done, because that's
Right.
not what I do.
Right.
But in Malaysia, the MLS, we have a few challenges. I don't know whether you want to discuss the challenges now, because you can go on and on. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it could be the next
Let's
question.
see whether the time allows.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyhow, we go to.
Let me say it,
yeah.
let me say it very briefly. MLS in the Philippines is a very fertile ground of getting listings, getting prospects, and it is being subsumed most of the time in the different organizations, real estate organizations in the Philippines. For your information, we have more than 10 organizations in real estate. And that is why I think in our profession, real estate, no, there are so many organizations who are doing MLS, and each of them do it perhaps locally, nationally, or even globally. So through the
So
organization.
each organization have their own MLS.
Yes, they have their own MLS.
Not even organization. In Malaysia, WhatsApp is one of the most popular.
Yes, yes.
And you have a lot of WhatsApp group that is doing so-called
MLS,
KAGC
like
MLS, and
MLS,
everybody put their listings in
Yeah.
that, and we have something to sell.
right.
I'm looking for buyer.
Yeah.
That is another platform,
Yes, yes.
which comes the issue of legality in terms of the, the legal, the rights, and the dispute that comes up. Who is going to regulate this? Who is going to enforce this? That's where the challenge comes, and who own the platform, and who is going to verify the person is not a scammer, or is how genuine
that's
is
right.
the listings. So that could be some challenges. And end of the day, the practitioner gets into trouble, and the buyers and the clients get into trouble. That's where the legal suits will come in. So that are some challenges that we see. So we need to have a framework to legalize or make it, and to be centralized, like what Dr. G said. No one owns that platform, and if things go wrong, who's going to, what kind of what are the penalty, what are the responsibility, accountability? I think.
Right. Okay, sure.
And I think that's the beauty of doing it within the purview of the organization. But of course, I agree that listings, multiple listings can be done by each realty company. You can do it through Facebook, WhatsApp, things like that. But however, as I agree with you, protection of both the buyers and the sellers and the agents must be secured.
Okay, yes. Now, let me not touch on challenges now. I think it will be very long with the time limitation. Okay. I like to touch now on a slightly different subject, on licensing. Whether each Thailand still have no licensing. So India, I believe still no licensing. So if you can share a little bit on licensing on real estate agent. Yes, Kun Vanessa.
The Real Estate Regulatory Act was very recently introduced in 2017 in India, which is like specifically binding on developers. And
RERA, you mean RERA?
Yes, RERA.
R-E-R-A. Yes,
Yeah.
that's right.
Where and from the broker fraternity, they are bound to first sales by this act. I mean, they are working on, binding the brokers to second sales, but for the moment they're bound by the first sales under the RERA Act. So, I mean, for all these years, we were not licensed agents.
Now, for those outside India, you may not know situation in India prior to RERA and today. Prior to RERA, any Indians outside India buying properties in India mostly end up in a nightmare. With RERA, it's now very helpful because you don't need to go to court. RERA will help you to get the thing right. Yes. Okay. Next, Dr.
Yeah.
Ong.
While Vanessa has RERA, we have RESA.
Okay.
We have the Real Estate Service Act of the Philippines,
Ah.
signed into law by former President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo
Okay.
on June 29, 2009. That's almost about 12 years ago. But prior to that, we were still in a quandary because we were under the Department of Trade and Industry until our legislator passed the law.
Oh.
And
okay.
then since 2009 up to the present, we are now under the Professional Regulation Commission.
Oh.
You probably would ask me, how many are registered?
Yes.
We have about 35,000 brokers
Oh. Okay.
and
35,000.
about 11,000 appraisers
Okay.
and about 600 consultants.
Okay.
But would you mind it that there are illegal practitioners
Oh.
of over 150,000?
Oh. And they get away.
They get away with it.
Yeah.
So that's why we are intending to amend the law,
Okay.
the RESA law.
Sure. Good. Okay. Kun Tan, Malaysia.
While you guys want to have the law,
Yeah.
we wish we don't have the law.
Oh, really?
No, I'm just.
You better without a law.
Yeah, I hope there's no recording here. No, anyway. No, I think
That means probably means the law is not effective.
to certain way, yes and no.
Yes.
It's good to have the law to regulate the practice. But when the law is not up to date, especially with the current, we talk about digitalization, the AIs, the way consumer transact properties. There are so many platform, e-commerce that's doing estate agency practice. So where is the line they were going to draw? And like I just shared a little bit, in Malaysia, we have the Board of Valuers, Appraisers, Estate Agent, and Property Managers.
Right.
The board regulates 4 professions, right?
Okay.
And to me, it's too many for them.
What? You mean one board?
Yeah, one board
for
regulate
profession?
4. Yeah.
Okay.
So when I was sitting in the board, I'm the chairman of the estate agency practice. So all the estate agency matters in the board comes to my portfolio. And we are under the preview of Ministry of Finance in Malaysia,
Okay.
right? And the act has been there since 1981.
Okay.
All right. So it's high time that we need to look into amendment of what is happening today, especially in the digitalization, especially the practice. A lot of illegals not physically there. The illegals are online as well, doing as the agency transaction.
Right.
So we couldn't catch them because
Right.
they're just online, right? But they're doing deals and they're collecting fees, collecting deposit, and the money goes missing and they couldn't be traced. And so these are some challenges we might have as well. Yeah, just a little bit.
I think very, very informative. I learned a lot and we all learned a lot. A big round of applause.
Thank you.
All right. Paul, may I say something?
Yes.
All right, then. I know that. Are you listening to us or not? Can I invite everybody to stand up? You seem sleepy. Okay, stand up and then look at the person on your right and on your left. Shake their hands, introduce yourself, and that is collaboration and networking. Come on, do it. 2 minutes.
I thought you asked them to stand out and session is finished.
Shake hands. Thank you.
Thank you for an excellent speaking session today. Now I would like to invite Ms. Patama Chantaranukul, the board member of Thai Real Estate Business School, to give a token of appreciation to our speakers. In the meantime, if anyone haven't got some refreshments, don't forget to go to the back to get some snack and coffee and come back to your seat. or if you would like to visit the booth, we have many interesting booths which have many projects in Thailand and also international organizations. It is a great time to network right now.
All right. Thank you. Okay, picture.